Hello and welcome. Now you can see behind me, the Pontiac truck is back. Winter's over, spring's here, which may or may not allow me to work on it anymore because it's springtime in the Tornado Valley. A lot of rain, which has been raining a lot, which is why I haven't finished the long bed yet. By the time you see this, long bed should be done, but this is like an in-between because I can't literally drive the long bed out of my yard without it sinking. So problems. So I've been depressed since it's been under the carport, covered up. Kind of got me depressed, not just, you know, I can't work on it, just because it's, I almost feel like I was losing interest. Get it uncovered, work on it a little bit, I feel better about the truck. So what I'm going to do is I'm test fitting some new parts. I'm taking some parts off. I'm robbing a part to put on the long bed. Now don't come at me because I know, oh, you're starting to rob parts off the truck already. That means you're not going to finish it. Wrong. I've already bought a replacement part for the part I'm about to rob. Show you why when I take it off. But eventually I'm going to do the roll cage. I'm kind of still waiting to get a notcher because I got pre-bent tubing, but I got to notch it myself. So I'm going to get a portable TIG welder and borrow one, notch it myself, build it myself. Before I do that, I want to test some of my new parts to make sure I'm going forward and not backwards. So I'm going to take the first part off that I'm going to rob for the long bed. So obviously, underneath here and the part, well, it's going to be a little obvious here. It's the transmission cross member. Oops, there we go. Oh, let's get this out from under here. So, that one's out. See, it's nice, light. The flanges are a little thick, you know. It's pretty solid, good enough for most things. Now, obviously, I got one on the daily driver, and this one's going on the log bed so I can run the dual exhaust without that stupid, how some exhaust shops do it. Now, the one I'm going to is this beefy one. And this should serve its purpose a lot better. Now, between these two, things I've noticed is, one, this is sturdier. Two, when I actually get this lined up center to center, and knowing this firsthand because I got one on the daily driver, is these holes actually set a little bit further in. Well, let me take that back. There's not a lot of this sitting on the frame itself, and I'm not a fan of that, especially when I get this torquey Pontiac going. So this one right here, I should have a lot more surface area on the frame, more mounting points, also adjustable. So when I drill my holes, I do have some adjustment here, as well as adjustment for the transmission. Plus, if I really need to, this design right here, I can easily box that in and make it a lot sturdier if need be. Now let's see here if I can do this really easy and quick. Up and over. You know, this truck's a little bit lower this time, so I'm not used to this. I'm used to this truck being a little bit higher. Oh, there we go. With the way they made these flanges, this lines up almost pretty well. I could probably line it up to the factory holes if I wanted to. And I have plenty of room to get to the transmission pan, paying for clearance to drop it. This is a nice upgrade. I am actually glad I did that. And there's a lot more meat under the transmission this time. A lot more surface area. That is a huge upgrade. Now I know what you're thinking. I've already talked about replacing parts, test parts, testing parts, not farts. No, I'm not getting rid of this fuel tank. because I like it. I like the way it fits. I like the way it looks. But since I am going back carbureted, I'm actually going to do a little change here. And that's also what I like about this fuel tank, is what I'm about to do is really easy to do, actually. Now, the cool thing about this Boyd's welding tank, not only did it fit good and it looks good, it's so easy to change from an EFI setup to carbureted. I mean, literally, they just made it to swap out. So as you can see, here's my old one, the Aeromotive fuel pump. And then I just changed it out for the one from the website. Put the new gasket, new fittings that came with it. And that's it. Really, it's just that simple to change it out. Now I'm going to put this back under here. And of course, it's just going to be temporary put back in because I still need to figure out filler hose and the rest of the lines. Now let's be honest here, I'm just kind of showing off at this point. That'll look pretty good. Now I went with an RPM because, as I mentioned, I'm going back carbureted. I'm not going to do fuel injection on this one. So the Kaufman Northwind that I have, I'm going to keep. I'm probably going to run it on the 68 GTO. Now this is what I plan on running on this one. Now you can tell a little bit something different about this intake. Now my other one I did sell to Darren, and he still has it. So I went ahead and bought me another one from a buddy locally who's just had one sitting on a shelf for years. Sounds like me, kind of. But I completely smoothed it. You can see I cut a lot of little brackets, all the little stuff off. It's a lot smoother, and you can see it doesn't say Performer RPM here. And it doesn't say Edelbrock right there. It says something else. So this right here is a very unique custom intake just for me. And that's going to look good. Now I'm going to make me a custom phenolic spacer because I don't care for the phenolic spacer that you can buy now. So I'll make my own again like I've done before. Run the spacers. Now I got to check the fitment on one more thing. Now the last thing to test fit, this is very important actually. I want to make sure these fit because these are high dollar. Granted, I saved a lot of money by buying from a friend who was on his way through the area and drove them up here and dropped them off. Oh. My long tube headers. That's right, ceramic coated. Long tube. And I gotta look real quick because I forgot. Hooker headers. That's right, these are actually legitimately hooker headers. Super competition. And I'm gonna test fit them one more time. Make sure these work. Well, one more time. I tested the cheap Flowtech headers. Now these are technically for the same car as the Flowtechs were. They are a little bit different in design because the tubes are a little bit bigger. And also, since now that I actually put that transmission cross member in there, it actually moved. So I'm gonna see how they fit. Well, I may have a slight issue on the headers. This one, because it's a bigger tube, is actually hitting part of the motor mount. Also having trouble here too. You can see, excuse me, the back would fit fine. The front, not so much. It's right on the motor mount again. So I need to figure something out. Because when that engine moves, well, you know what's going to happen. So now knowing that, I know what needs to change. But luckily, like I said, I bought the headers from a friend who bought them on clearance years ago, so he passed the discount along to me. Fair enough. I didn't want to buy brand new ones at full price to test. Yeah. Now it is odd that the cheap Flotex fit better, but they were smaller tubing, so they were able to route them a little bit differently. I could probably go with these same hookers, just smaller tubing, and be okay. Because these are really more of the race headers, honestly. Because they are the big tube, and yeah, they're not made to clearance for a truck, so you know, putting stuff where it don't belong. That's what hot rodding's all about. Yeah, that now as far as this goes, like I said, I'll probably run spacers, bring that up, valve covers up taller to clear any kind of rollers I put on it. I will run a full Nolic spacer. I'll make my own again. And as far as air cleaner setup, you see this nice little rubber gasket here. That was the seal to the cow induction on the previous hood. So this hood, whenever I get a ram air hood made for it, it's going to seal to the ram air. And I may have to bring the air cleaner up, carburetor go up, and once I get the hood, I'll figure all that out. But this thing will look pretty snazzy when I'm done with it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, thanks for watching.